Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. We're going to jump in the queue here, and I saw the list of players who are online but not in games right now. It's a little bit imposing. Well, I don't know. Maybe MSven's not queuing. Wise Guy and a Pooch. Anyway, my point is, there are a number of people online right now who would absolutely shellac me if we played, so I wouldn't be too surprised to be matched with one of them. A Pooch and Wise Guy just started their game though, so let's have a look at that while we wait. And there's no shame in losing to stronger players, but it's always imposing and scary, you know. It's more instructive for sure, but it still feels bad to lose. Okay, what the heck is this set we have here against Hambone in base +5, 60 seconds? I mean, the obvious question is like blue or red, right? I don't think you want both. They're both like very high pressure plays that the other will have trouble dealing with, right? Like Drake's gonna have a sad time with Tatsu's, and Tatsu's gonna have a sad time with Drake's, and so I don't really know what to make of this. I think that because of the presence of Pixie, I'd like to try for Drake's instead, because Tatsu really doesn't have much defensive support. And also Drake's are a little bit breach-proof. You can gambit pretty heavily against Tatsu's this way. You know, if you're willing to get breached for 3, you don't have to be nearly as careful. So I think I'll go for the Drake's. And do you want a third NG in that? I'm not sure. Because I worry if you let them, like, get Tatsu's, then... if you drone too much, that is, then you'll be under too much pressure from the Drakes. And so you could try just DD, DD, DDB, or something like that, right? The thing is, it's kind of hard to, like, get a second forge on a smallish number of drones. Because when you get your first forge, you kind of want to, like, spend your blue. And if you do that, you don't have room for much, like, for even buying a second forge, usually. Not if you want to, like, buy Doom drones, which you probably do. So what if I did something a bit crazy like this, and I get a Doom drone here? Next turn, I go BB 1-1. Then I'll have 12 drones. Well, 12 income and $0, and I can go Drake, Drake, Drake. I think it's got to be too aggressive, but I want to try it. Because it means I don't have to have a turn where I just have a single blue, which I'm not that excited to have. And it also gets the threat out a lot faster against some, like, red nonsense. Green. That's a novelty. What? See, now I threaten Drake, and, like, I feel like he has to respond with Blast Forge to that. This Animus, I find hard to believe. What if I did this? I'm threatening 6 next turn, and all he has is NG Rhino. He could force field. I want a wall next turn, probably. Well, no, I have 2 Doom Drones to hold back. Maybe a wall's unnecessary. Threatening 7. I don't remember if that's what I said. But all he has is 3 defense. And he wants to click the Rhino. I think I'll give this a go. This might be too aggressive, but I think my opponent's been set up to have trouble with aggressive plays. It's not 7, it's 6. Steel Splitter's only attack for 1. I got the count right the first time. Opponent's going for the Tatsu. Well, if I lose to this, then my line was very clearly wrong, because this is exactly what I was trying to prevent. I guess I don't really want a wall. I'll just hold back a Doom Drone or 2. Get, like, Splitter Blast Forge or something. Okay, I mean, if you're gonna do this, maybe I could consider a wall. Although, why, right? Pixie's real good right now. I could hold back a second Doom Drone to guarantee he can't kill anything, but all that really saves is, like, stops him from using a Rhino click to kill an NG, and I think he's gonna have trouble doing that anyway. So here, a wall seems okay, but what if instead I just did this? And said my Doom Drones will eat up your Tarsier attacks and you can't click your Rhinos. I think that's better. It lets me add a Splitter instead of a Pixie, right? Or a Splitter instead of a wall. Or I could get the Pixie and do like this. Give me more Doom Drones. Like, this lets me use my energy to buy Doom Drones, getting this Pixie instead of a Splitter. I think that's worth it. If I can make opponent continue to force field, like, that's fine. They are catching up in permanent attack, but note that they're, like, still behind. Okay, now I'm happy to get a wall. Do I maybe just not click this Drake? Ah, right. The reason I would not click the Drake is because I would want to buy another attacker, but I can't. I'm buying a wall. And I think this is worth it to kill more all their stuff and continue threatening to breach. Should I float the 2? Would I rather buy an NG? I don't think so. I have a Doom Drone to block next turn. They'll be attacking for 3 and then 4. I should be just fine. I'll float this. Why? I think I'll be buying an NG next turn anyway, so I might as well buy it now for flexibility. And then I can, like, click Drake, buy Splitter Forge, something like that. I had another game recently where I was clicking Drake, like, all the time, right? That was that Borehole game against Someone? Was it this person? I don't think so, but I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was. I know I played Hambone sort of recently, but I don't know if that was the same game. Okay, interesting. The Drake threat is real, yeah. They wanted to go for Tatsus, but I don't think you can do that against this aggressive rush. This is certainly the earliest I remember ever buying Drakes in my life. What do the damage stats look like, by the way? Yeah, outrageous. This, it looks like I'm the red player, right? Very funny. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird, only ever buying like 2 permanent attackers. But the set really, I think, as I said, calls for pretty extreme aggression on whichever side you land on, I think. Well, I don't know. That's not quite true. It calls for whatever attackers you build will be highly focused on threat, right? On putting pressure on the opponent to avoid a breach immediately. And that doesn't necessarily mean you build the attackers right away. Maybe the right approach in this set is to go a bit slower and set up for like a high econ, well, maybe not high econ, but like moderate econ Tatsu or moderate econ Drake. But still, once you buy that, your opponent will suddenly be under a lot of pressure. And so I think there's a lot of incentive to be the first one to do that, whichever thing it is you decide to do here. Because, as I mentioned, like Tatsu is going to have a lot of trouble with Drake, and Drake is going to have a lot of trouble with Tatsu. So you really don't want to let your opponent get whichever one they want first. Which is why I went for this double Doom Drone on turn 2. My original thinking was this, right? And then I was like, okay, but how fast can I get out a Drake? You know, you could go DDB and buy a splitter and another forge or something. But then you're like floating your energy, and the Drake doesn't come out until like turn 5. And so then I started thinking about, well, what if I just went DD this turn and then like BB? Okay, that's not great. You only have 10 drones. You can buy 1 Drake. Might still be playable, but a little bit bad. It has some problems anyway. And I was like, okay, well, but you have $12, right? So you could go like, you could get a Doom Drone. You could get like BB Doom Drone next turn, BB1. But that leaves you $1 short of Drake. You have 11 income at that point. So I said, okay, well, how could I get myself a little more money on the next turn? Well, easy. Turn these regular drones into Doom Drones. Each one of those gives you an extra $1 next turn. And since what I really want is more money 2 turns from now, this lets me buy 2 Doom Drones with my double B. Was my thinking. As you can see, because I did that. And then I have 12 income, and I can just buy Drake, 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 Drake. I think I talked about that, but I don't remember if I talked about how I got there. I was thinking about like how to get 2 Blast Forges at once. I think I did talk about that. But I don't know if I talked about the problem I was going to have if I had gotten 2 drones instead of 2 Doom Drones, and how the double Doom Drone resolves that problem. So opponent's Conduit, weird. The Engineer, weirder. I mean, I don't know. In a Doom Drone set, NGs are great, because Doom Drones are great, and you need NGs to buy them. So there's certainly, like, it's not unreasonable to buy a 3rd NG at this point, but I would kind of worry, if I were my opponent, about like, what's with this double Doom Drone? What's he up to? You don't usually build 2 Doom Drones on turn 2. Actually, you know what? I bet he was thinking I wanted Tatsus. Because, like, what does Conduit get you in this set? It gets you Gauss Cannons and Force Fields, and that's it. Why would you want either of those things? I mean, Force Fields are fine, but you don't usually prepare for Force Fields before you build any attackers. So I bet opponent wanted to respond to my double Animus with Gauss Cannons and beat me that way. Yeah, this looks a lot like I'm kind of set up for Tatsus, right? I have 12 income. I can AA1 and then Tatsu. Huh. I guess I'm just well positioned to do either of these things. I had my heart set on one, but I suppose if opponent had tried something blue, maybe I could have gotten Tatsus instead. I don't think so, though. Like, if they actually get blue, they can Drake me before I can Tatsu them, because they'll be getting some of their tech on this turn, right? I think. Maybe they can't get enough tech. They probably can't, right? Like, they have 10 bucks. What are they going to do? BB this turn? Can't even buy a Drake, so... If you really wanted to undercut, you could have gotten a Doom Drone here, and then BB, and then single Drake, I guess. Doesn't seem good, but, you know, you could do it. Or actually 2 Doom Drones? Because then you could BB 1? Still doesn't seem great. But I think you could Drake twice in a row if you did that, right? Am I right? So say you did this. No, this is crazy. You can't get Drakes this way. What am I thinking? I'm not sure. You can't even get 1 Drake if you don't... Yeah, what made me think this? I guess I saw the opponent's gold estimate and sort of imagined it was their income number. But it's not, right? Their income number is 9, not 10. And over the course of 2 turns, that 1 income I misestimated by would account for the fact that they have 10 bucks instead of 12. Okay. So I don't know. This actually seems like a pretty tough opening to cope with from player 1 now that I look at it. Because it threatens both Tatsu and Drake. I don't know what the right response to Drake is. But the right response to Tatsu is like a Conduit, I think. But the problem is you can't commit too soon or I go Drakes. So I don't know. And then, just sell back sell back that Blast Forge and a bunch of drones, right? Drake Click sort of allows you to turn 5 drones into 2 attackers, in a way. You can do it temporarily for 1 turn, or you can do it as long as you want. Just keep clicking Drake and buying Forge. And that's assuming you're rebuying the Forge. The first Drake Click was even better because I didn't rebuy the Forge. It was just a Blast Forge that I didn't want that badly anymore. I would have loved a second Drake, but, you know, it was more important to put pressure on this guy as the red player. I don't know why I was allowed this breach, by the way. Surely opponent didn't think I was going to hold back Steel Splitter here. Maybe they thought I wouldn't click Drake? Rhino Gambit's that threat, but it's an obvious, like, clearly I take the breach, right? So, I don't know. I gotta say, these Doom Drones did a great job at defending against attack. And also, I personally did, I think, a good job of holding back the right number of Doom Drones. I mean, in fairness, I just held back the number of Doom Drones equal to opponent's Tarsiers and said, I dare you to attack with any Rhinos. I wasn't doing anything particularly meticulous or masterful, but it still feels good to be like, yeah, I'll harvest this one extra Doom Drone. When did I do that? Here. Saying, you can't click your Rhino. I won't hold back a Doom Drone to prevent against that threat. Feels good. And not building a wall, you know, which would be an overreaction against this threat when I already have Doom Drones dying. Yeah, just click Drake every turn when opponent's losing Rhinos and having to force field it. It's great. And then they gave up. So yeah, I don't know. There's I feel like there must be some credible red line, but maybe there's not. Like, suppose opponent does something a little bit more normal on this. Let's say they don't go for a conduit. Let's say they want to Drake me or something, right? They do this. Are they prepared? Ooh, I can't get Doom Drone. I forgot. I only have 12 income. I only have 10 income. I can only do this once. Okay, Tatsu's maybe a little bit questionable, but let's say can you get a Drake here? Probably. Even against my Tatsu, I think, because like you just say, fine, come kill a drone, I don't care. I'll Drake your ass. And the red player is like not very, oops, not very happy with this. Like, this is the defense, and it doesn't even work. You see what I mean? And they're only breaching for 2, so I can just say, yeah, help yourself to all the drones you want. We're coming for you. And this is just absolutely losing by a million. So this Tatsu would get smashed by Drakes. Assuming that, like, oops, I meant to just go back to the point where I started analyzing and not undo my analysis. But like, supposing that opponent does this, and you say, aha! Blue, eh? I know what to do about blue. I'm gonna Tatsu it. If you try that, you're gonna get murdered by Drakes. But maybe, you know, in response to this blue, maybe I can still just go BB11. I don't know. You get a splitter and another forge. I get a Drake. Now, you probably hold the splitter, right? Yeah, you must. It absorbs 2 and attacks 1, so why wouldn't you? Now you can get a Drake, and you know, we're all one big happy Drake family. Neither of us is especially happy, but we do have Drakes. I don't know, I feel like I should click this. I don't want 2 blue. And I really do want to make my opponent sad, which I think this accomplishes pretty well. Opponent's attacking for either 3 or 5. So a wall and a Doom Drone hold does pretty well. Huh. I mean, this denies the Doom Drone value, obviously. I guess it's fine. I don't know. This is looking pretty good for player 1 still. I guess this is worth. Pay 5 gold to kill a wall. I guess, in fairness, opponent actually has attackers, and all I have is a Drake. So maybe I should be getting a splitter here? Yeah, more gold required, huh? I mean, I have a splitter hold, I guess? Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think player 1... Oh, I forgot to buy a forge. Good heavens. It's a little bit scary. I don't know, I think player 1's still in alright shape. Yeah. So it seems like the early blue doesn't... Well, it's not to say that it doesn't win, but it doesn't immediately put you in a spot that's obviously winning as player 2. Right? Yeah, I mean, this is probably over-defending, actually. Opponent doesn't have any real attack. Let's just get another forge so I can, like, buy wall splitter or something. Yeah, I think player 1's winning this. More Doom drones, more tech, better granularity, more defensive tempo. Yeah. Okay, so, I don't know. I think opponent made it easy for me by trying this line, maybe thinking I was committed to Tatsu's. But I don't know what the right line for them was. If there is a Tatsu line for me, it doesn't start with, like... You don't get the animuses on turn 3 anyway. Not against much of anything. I mean, I guess you could even, if you really wanted to, if you were super keen on it, you could replace the turn 1 drones with Doomies. And that would let you buy more Doomies later. On the turn you buy the Animus, but I don't think that's a good idea. Anyway, Red just has a lot of trouble with Drakes. And it's hard to get red-blue in this set, because you just don't have that kind of money. But maybe that would be the answer somehow, is to try to get red-blue with, like, Brooders as your red, and just, like, a Drake as an attacker. You threaten to breach for opponent's Drake at some point. I don't know. It's not enough. Not enough oomph behind the freeze, I think. You get a breach, but you don't get to kill anything. I don't know. I'd be interested to see if anyone in the comments has a suggestion for what player 2 should do here, or if there's a better line I could have found as well. I would, of course, be happy to hear about either of those things. Hey, we finished the ticket. Look at that. Amazing. Confirm. I agree. Wait, why do I have a red thing? I guess I must have just won it from a ticket or something? Did I win it just now? I wasn't really watching. I don't know. Shall we play a game? Alright, sure. Death visits a Stary Cannon. I do often just search for units to emote about, so that'll help fill that gap. But we're done for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.